Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and Bitcoin went kind of low today in the 18,000 range, but bounced back with in response to some good economic news. Let's look at Bitcoin. Okay, you guys should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart,
Yes.
and I have the news up. U.S. stocks cheer a bit less Fed fear, so everyone's anticipating a 3/4 basis point interest rate rise by the Fed in first week in November, either first or second. So that's pretty much priced in the market. But the Fed has been hinting that that may be the last of interest rate hikes of that magnitude. So the interest rate hike, say in December, might be smaller. So that was perceived as good economic news, and the market reacted accordingly. So we may get slowing of interest rate hikes, which should help all the markets, including crypto. So let's hope that is what happens. And as you can see, we're above 19K. We did dip as low as 18.6 today, which is not as far as we dipped, last week down to 18.2. So Bitcoin is hanging in there. The bulls seem to be defending the 19K range. So that's pretty cool. On Ethereum, I've drawn in this little micro range. It's between about 1370 and 1250. And you can see we're hovering right around 1300. So big Ethereum has been pretty tight here. So the market is essentially in consolidation mode, going sideways, but these lower levels seem to be defended. Not sure how long that's going to last. To be candid, I've only traded shorts this week and did pretty well with them. So, if you're ready to do that, you may want to consider getting on an exchange. And if you haven't done it before, short 1x or 2x until you get familiar with it. It's a little different than doing spot trading. So, and see what you can do. Anyway, any comments or questions or issues to discuss regarding the market overall? Okay, let's go to Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some trades.
CJ.
Who's that? Is that Nathan?
Yeah.
All right, welcome.
So you're well, thank you. You're trading shorts because you're figuring most likely everything's going to go down, or why are you trading mostly shorts?
For that reason, I think we're hanging around. We're in this tight range. We can't seem to break through this. Well, we can't lately. We can't seem to break through like 19.4. But this is my range here at 20,400. It's been hanging. It's been stuck here. In this say mid 19K range for a while. So until I see a strong push above 20K, I'm going to keep buying shorts whenever the market goes up. And my approach is to ladder buy those positions if they go against me. But if I take a long, I would use a stop loss. So most people think we're due for another drop. I don't know if this is going to hold this 18 range. Wouldn't surprise me if we dip down to 17.5 or something like that and bounce back, kind of like this move over here in June. So, of course, when you hear a lot of people say that, the whales go, let's do something different. And maybe it never happens, and maybe I get short squeezed. We'll see. But that's just how I'm trading, not financial advice. And this is day trading when I'm talking about. This doesn't affect what you do for hodls, though I think this is a really good time to buy if you're doing long swing trades and are holding for months or years. So Nathan, you sounded a little concerned. Do you have a different strategy in mind? Are we disagreeing? It's okay if we do. So,
well, if I'm looking at 1 to 2%, if I'm trying to take 1% at 10 times, I'm just I'm going short and long in both directions all over the place. So
okay.
Just whatever it looks like as far as whether the MFI is getting crossed or not.
That's a reasonable strategy. I just found lately I've been stuck in longs, so but the shorts have done pretty well. Usually I'm out the same day or maybe two at the longest. So it's really just a a short-term approach until
But you're going for like 4 or 5%, right?
it's between say 2 and 5. Yeah, I tried to get 5 on a Kava short yesterday and just missed it in the wee hours of the morning, and then it went back up. I ended up getting about 2.5% on 10x leverage. So it's still a good trade, but only half of what I was hoping for, but that happens. All right, well, let's look at Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some trades, or at least
I'd
some
like
things
to get
that's
I'd like to get direction on how you're choosing your shorts.
okay. Well, let's we'll look at we'll look at 2 longs, and then we'll go and we'll use Altcoin Alert to find some shorts. So since we have about 50-50 spot traders in here, we'll start with a long approach. I've got the Altcoin radar set up here. Easy mode is off. I'm gonna reload, update my screen, sort by AA score. Steam have not traded. EOS, I was looking at this earlier, so I've got that chart up. Let's go ahead and check it out. This isn't one that usually moves that much. It's kind of an old project. I'm not sure it really has much use case anymore, but it has pumped a few times this year. It's actually up. Well, it's up about almost 6% today, so that's pretty good. Though we're the Bollinger Bands kind of squeezy here, a little over 1%. It's bubbling a little. Not sure if that's going to be a dip, dip sequence or not. If you're doing a price alert, you've got some support here, right around $1.02, and again down here at about right above $1. So this range here would be pretty good to get into if the market does dip overnight and or tomorrow morning. For our indicators, let's look at divergence first. These bullish divergence did pretty well. That one went down and then back up 5%, one little over a day. That's pretty good. That one dipped a little bit at first, then up, 4%. Nathan's on 10x leverage, and I think, Craig and some of the others trade about the same, as do I. So, when you get 2 to 3% and you're on that leverage, it's a really nice trade. So divergence looks pretty good as an approach. And you can right click here, add your divergence alert, make sure to switch it over to positive, once per bar close, and AA score. So let's see. Also got our MFI on the 15-minute. Shall leave divergence up. And this would have been an entry as it dips below the oversold area on 20 at the 20 value and comes back up. But it dropped right after that. So the second area would have been a better entry, but then that's a really good one, the MFI. And then we've got another one here that eventually was profitable. So the MFI alert could be pretty good. Right click, crossing up 20 once per bar close, and there you go. So that's that alert. I've done a little trend trading as well. So as I've talked about the last couple of weeks, I'm using the SuperTrend. Its alerts. It doesn't repaint, which I like. And these alerts have been pretty good. So, Nathan mentioned going long and short, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do that too. This long would have been 4%. The short, 2.8. This long, 3. Make sure you confirm it with other indicators though. Yeah, as you can see with this buy alert triggers, everything else is confirming the MFI, the RSI, the MACD, and my TDFI, the trend direction. So
Are you still set at 1 and 10 on your super trend?
yeah, I think so. I think that's default. So yeah, it's default. So you might want to play around with some of those, but
When you do the other one, I don't remember what that one is called. CE something.
the chandelier exit, I booted that because it repaints, so I don't use it anymore.
But the chandelier exit, you had that at 2.5 and 3.
Yeah, I'd played around with that, and
I've ended up putting the super trend at 1 and 2.
okay,
And it looks pretty good.
let's look at that. All right, so the ATR period's 1, the multiplier is 2. Yeah, it's really busy. So kind of take a mental picture there. But some of the entries were better.
Well, I'm looking at it at 5.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's compromise a bit. Okay. Yeah, at least in this situation, these were better entries. So I think I'm gonna steal that. I know a good idea when I steal one. Super trend 5. Okay. 5-minute. So I'm going to save this. Now that I've changed one of the indicators on my layout, save it. Now that'll show up whenever I open, CJ's basic chart layout, and the super trend will change from 10 to 5. See, that's how you do that. Thanks for the tip. I'll monitor that for a week, see how it does. We talk about it next Friday. All right, so EOS. And if you want to set an alert on the super trend, right click. Make sure you're not on the Bollinger Band like I was. And you can buy or sell. If you're doing, there's another version of super trend that has direction change. So you might want to look for that one if you don't want to do 2 separate alerts. But with the buy and sell option, you have to do one of each if you're going to do buy and sell. Okay. Any questions on EOS? Okay, let's see what else we have. DGB. I'm actually in this trade on a short because very bearish here. Let's talk about this. Now I'm shorting something that is 77 bullish, but you have to remember how AA arrives at the AA score. And according to this, there's a 77.6% chance that DGB is going to go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. Well, if it doesn't do that, if it dips first, I'm fine with that because I'm in a short. If it does go up 3 to 5%, that's okay too, because I'll just buy another position up there and wait for it to drop again. So at least that's the plan. Obviously, if it pumps, then I could be in a bad trade for a while. So that's a risk I take. But since we have this data in the short term, say before 48 hours, say later on today or tomorrow, I feel pretty good that I should get maybe 2 to 3% on a chart at 10x leverage on the short side of DGB. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to look at it from the long perspective because it does have a good AA score. Okay, last hour, it has been trending down. Now AA thinks it's going to recover soon. I think it will too, but I think I'm going to get my short in before it does. So on the 5 minute, the volume's not that good. I was kind of on the fence. It was a little less than $1 million on Bybit when I bought it. I kind of bent my rule, but I don't have a lot of money on the trade, so I felt it was okay to go ahead. Yeah, we're at the moment. Yeah, we're like 1% on the Bollinger Band, so I'm not seeing a trade on the 5 minute at the moment. If you want to go long on this, there's 2 areas of support here on the 5 minute chart at 0.8 cents, just above that, so that would be a good entry. On the 15 minute, I'll show you something else too. I went with a divergence alert, and this is the one I took this afternoon, so I'm slightly in profit. If it gets down to here, 0.83 cents, I'm going to go ahead, and this is my alert to do a trailing stop and try to capture some additional profit if it keeps dropping. If it goes back up, I'll just end up with a small profit. So depends on the exchange whether you can incorporate a trailing stop or not. So it's pretty easy to do on Bybit. So that's the divergence alert I used. If you want to, we talked earlier about the MFI alerts on the bullish side. This one dipped below 20, came back up right about here. About 1.8%, not bad. There's another one there. Didn't do that well. This one did okay briefly. Get about 0.45, then it drops. And yeah, you give it almost 1%, but it takes over a day. Better than a loss, but not that great. The RSI actually had, with the exception of this one here, had better entries. Like this entry here was good off the RSI. Yeah, 3.5%, we like that. So if you want to go with the RSI alert, right click here, add an alert, crossing up, and 30 is the oversold area, once per bar close, and AA score. And I have been known, if I want to trade both directions, to do, I think I did this on Wednesday. I think it was divergence alerts and trend alerts. So, I know it was on that one they were talking about Apta or Aptos or something like that. They were talking about it on CryptNation on Tuesday and Thursday. So, oh, there it is. I have it over here. APT. So the boys are not fans of it. So anyway, let's look at SuperTrend. This is probably going to be the old setting. Yeah, switch that to 5, see if that helps. Yeah, entries are a little sooner. This buy alert, about 1.4, sell alert, did pretty well. 3.3. Slight profit there. 2.7. So you see how much with the is that that's a pretty good one there on the buy side, 2.5. But the sell alerts, the moves down seem to be a lot bigger. So that's why I've been focusing on shorts until the market changes. So And yeah, I guess that's all I have on DGB. Any questions on this? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Not about DGB, but as far as the MACD and the swings of the signal lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I keep wanting to look at them and say that, if I've got a lower swing, then I'm going to not have as high a swing up. If I've got a lower swing down at the bottom, I'm not going to get as high a swing at the top. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. Because,
Sort of makes sense, but I've never heard anyone teach that. So
I'm just trying to get some sort of an idea about, what's going on with those lines as far as, how the swinging from bottom to top is working. I know that if I'm looking at a crossover on top, it's not that great, except if I'm looking at shorts. If I'm looking at longs on the bottom, then I'm crossing my blue over to the top on the bottom is a good thing, but I don't know. I'm still struggling with it.
yeah, to be honest, I don't use the MACD that much anymore. I used it in the bull market to help get into dip trades sooner when the dips, often you wouldn't get a third dip. It'd be like a 1-2 dip and then go. And then I would use MACD to confirm. That's really the only thing I've used it for consistently. I've looked at a few YouTube videos about it, some traders who use it more than that, but I haven't. So at this point, you may know more about it than I do. So
That's a scary thought.
hey, we should all be expert at something. So maybe you're the MACD expert. All right, let's go ahead then and look for a short using Altcoin Alert. Like to look for shorts on Friday afternoon anyway, due to lower volume over the weekend. So unfortunately, we've been stuck with these same 5 bearish coins for weeks. So that's not a good way to do it. What I like to do is go over here to long-term sentiment and elder impulse and see which sort has the fewest, and I'll sort by that. So we got 41 on the long-term sentiment that are short, bearish or very bearish, but over 170 on elder impulse. What I want to do is match these up. The sentiment is the Twitter data, what people are talking about. Elder impulse is a combination of technical indicators. So I'll go ahead and sort by the long-term sentiment since it's got the smallest number, and reverse sort it. So this is how I found my DGB this morning. Very bearish on sentiment and bearish on the elder impulse. We just went through that one, so we need not do it again. If you are looking for a short, it has to be something on an exchange that you can short, either KuCoin, which has 5x leverage, and then Bybit and some of those where you need a VPN. So got a few to choose from here: ICX, Axie, Bitcoin even. Dot's been kind of a stinker. Let's look at that. Okay. On the 5-minute. Let's get rid of this. So our Bollinger Bands, everything's sitting on the SMA line. Bollinger Bands 1.2%, so that's not good. But we do have rising lows, so higher lows, and some lower highs. So this thing's going to do something. I don't trade structures that much, but a lot of people do. So yeah, it's gonna pop one way or the other probably. You can use a diagonal line and set an alert on it if you want to wait for the trend to drop below it. I prefer support and resistance over diagonal trend lines. Just makes more sense to me. So yeah, I'd say this area here, right around 575 would be good, a good place to set a price alert. On the 15, on our indicators, divergence. Oh, you know what? I messed that up. I gotta get in a short mode. So let's go back to the 5-minute. We want this to go up so we catch a retrace. So if you're looking to short dot, I'd say between 588 and maybe right around the 590 area would be where you want to set your alert. And on the 15, I'm looking for shorts. I like divergence. If I'm pretty confident the thing's not going to spike. And, all these divergence have done well on dot. This one, 3%. This one quite a bit more, depending on how long you hang on to it. This is similar to the DGB one I took this afternoon, and it's like about 0.2 at the moment. So I'll probably be in this one overnight and into tomorrow. The DGB one anyway. So your alert, right click on divergence, negative is already there, once per bar close, and that's my long-term sentiment buy. As you can see, that's probably the alert I use the most. The alert name I use the most. Actually, I think I'm gonna keep that. All right, if you want to go the trend route, the buys haven't done that well. The short actually didn't do that well either. Well, it was 2% against and then came down and into this second. And then this one did really well. So you might have been in this for a day and a half and done pretty well with it. Maybe even took a ladder buy up here, double the position. And then on our MFI, we go above the 80 here, the overbought, and when it comes back down, that's the time to get in. And it looks like that one worked out pretty well. Similar to that divergence alert we looked at, but it only triggered once above the 80. This one went up to 78 and came back down, but that's very recent. We're not sure how that one's going to play out yet. This RSI one triggered here. That was a good one. The MFI just missed it. You might want to go a 70 on your MFI alert on this. So instead of using 80, right click on here, crossing down. Instead of 80, go 70. Once per bar close. And you're good to go.
Still don't understand the once per bar close.
Yeah,
that
that's
gives you a lot of alerts, right?
No, it's only going to go off when the bar closes and satisfies the alert condition. So when this divergence goes off, if you use this, once per bar close, when this triggers, that's the only time it'll trigger again until this one goes off. So you got this alert going off at 3 in the morning. You do it that way, and this one 12:45 this afternoon. Now, I've warned you guys that this one does repaint. Sometimes it'll creep up. It doesn't repaint radically, but it can move over again as the position exaggerates. So keep that in mind, but it might go off again. Like this one, like the DGB I took. I think it went off 3 times in an hour because it kept adjusting. I didn't mind. I mean, it's during the day, and I had set my entry a little bit above where it went off anyway, just to get a better entry. Plus, the market was trending up. I was looking at Bitcoin at the time, and so I thought it would go up, and it did go up and grab my entry, and I got a pretty good position. I'm in profit on it now, though not a lot, but
DJ,
anyway.
do you get alerts on your phone?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I can't seem to get mine to do that. I keep
Uh,
trying.
load the TradingView app and sign in. It should pick up anything you put on your computer. Should go to your phone. So
You might have to turn it on in the settings on your phone though.
yeah, it could be an issue with with notifications. I mean, a lot of people turn them all off. I turn most of mine off, but actually TradingView is the only one I have on all the time. But I do turn my alerts off before I go to bed if I don't want to be awakened, which is, I used to leave them on overnight. I used to do this kind of thing. Trade at 2 in the morning, go back to sleep, but I got burned a couple of times. I quit doing that.
You're still married?
I am happily divorced, but that's a Zoom for another time.
CJ, rather than setting alerts, do you ever just set like entry points and actual trades rather
Oh
than
man, I haven't done that since lunchtime. Yeah, I do that because I knew I had something going. I had a pretty good idea where I wanted to get in, and I was going to be away from my computer for a while. I didn't want to deal with it on my phone, so I set a higher price for a short, and it just missed. So bummer. But I got another one as soon as I came home. So I got the DGB. I was trying to get one on crypto.com to CRO, but I had a good trade with that earlier in the week. It didn't work again.
So Craig, do you usually do limit for your entry?
yeah, often. But yeah, I'm not doing a lot of trading at the moment. I've just been burnt too much and I'm just bit gun shy at the moment actually.
Yeah, I've been there. There's nothing wrong with taking a few days off or a few weeks even. So, do some study, look at the charts, maybe tweak your plan a little bit, and then maybe even paper trade for a while until you feel good again, or trade with very small amounts.
Yeah, I'm at the point of thinking of starting to paper trade again. So
Yep, sounds good. All right, let's do 35 minutes. Let's do one more short, and then we'll wrap it up for Altcoin Alert. All right, so that was DOT. Let's look at Axie. It's actually down quite a bit today.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
So when you had the AA score in the positive, but you had you showed negatives, bearish signs on the whatever it was, the ticker.
We were looking at DOT, and now we're looking at Axie. So we're seeing and a lot of AA people struggle with this. You see bullish at 72.2. It's like, oh, it's going to shoot straight up, but all these values are bearish. So what do we do with that? It's contradictory. Well, that's why I went over in a little bit of detail earlier about how the AA score, what it really means. And it's going to go up in the next 48 to 72 hours, 72.2% chance. So my reasoning is if I'm in a short and it does that, I'll go ahead and make another purchase. If it doesn't do that, if AA is wrong, or my position gets, my short accomplishes what I want before it does that, that's what I'm looking to do. So like this is a little bit in the future, 48 to 72 hours. This is now. So I'm focusing on the now, but you can use it. You can use this data either way or both ways. I mean, sometimes I could do a short, and then when it starts to come back, see what the AA score is. If I like that and the chart set up, I'll buy it long. So
That's pretty intense saying that that's now.
that's
I
how I
mean,
view it. I mean, it's, the AA thinks this is all bearish. So
Hmm.
yeah. All right. Where were we? Axie. Got that one up. Let's go to the 5. See where we are with this. Okay, we had a nice move up today. 4.5%. Kind of putzing around near the SMA line at the moment. Not much room on the Bollinger Bands. Some pretty strong support here in the short term anyway. Right around 870 would be a good, between about maybe 866 and 875. That would be a good entry if you want to set a price alert on our indicators. Divergence. Oh shoot, I did it again. We're looking at this as a short. I'm sorry. All right, so your resistance is here. That's what you want when you're doing a price alert for a short. So multiple touches here right about 920. So that's where you would set that.
Looks like it's going to bounce off the EMA or whatever that red line is.
Yeah, the
Rather
SMA,
than go
simple
right
moving
for the-
average. Yeah, it has been riding it, since late this morning and hasn't been able to punch its way through. But why I measure the Bollinger Bands is, it's less than a 1% move. So
Yeah, it's a bit tight, isn't it?
I think so. All right, back to 15. We haven't had a bearish divergence on Axie, since Monday. So that's, oh, there's one. That one just, how did I miss that? All right, so we had this at 1030. Looks like it's in profit. 2%, not bad. Probably still be in that trade if I took it. So that's one way to go. Don't have any MFI readings in the overbought area or RSI readings, so those don't look effective to me. If you want to go the trend route, let's see, is this still the 5 or the 10? That's 5, yeah. I'm liking this 5, Nathan. I should have thought of this. A little annoyed I didn't. I've moved most of my day trading layouts have a 5 as a position look back. So yeah, the sell did really well here. Can't see that buy alert. There's a buy there. The sell did really well. Down 12%, good stuff. This one looks like it's slightly in profit or break even at the moment. If you're using the SuperTrend on the 15-minute chart, it's not going to go off a lot. So maybe 2 or 3 times in a 24-hour period, unless the market's really going wacky. But lately, we've had lower volatility, and so, I mean, I used the SuperTrend on a 3-minute Ethereum scalp I wanted to do today, and it didn't go off at all. It just had a buy the whole day, and it just kind of, trended up a little bit, but and the buy was 603 or something. There was splashing water in my face though. At that time, I wasn't trading yet, so keep that in mind for SuperTrend. Okay. Any questions on the potential Axie short? All right. Any questions on anything in crypto, day trading or otherwise?
Generally speaking, if your Bollinger Band spread is less than 2%, it means you're not going to really have enough volatility to really make it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at that too. Let's go back to share screen. It's sort of left over from my, I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 dip. Like you see, you got this kind of low, here's a dip sequence. It's squeezing and then bubbles, but the bubble's not very big. Oh, sorry, I'm on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, see, this is trending down, the bubbles. Actually, that's pretty good. It just doesn't look very, very big. Okay, that's why. So sometimes you'll see these trends down, but there's very little, action between the two. We want the bubble on the dip sequence. We want the bubble too, and the trending down candles. And so that's why I usually measure the Bollinger Bands. If they're really squeezy like that, it's usually indicative of low volume, low volatility. So I should just said yes to your question.
It has to get squeezy before it bubbles. So how
Correct.
do you know if you're in a squeeze before a bubble, or if you're just squeezing because it's lazy?
Well, why I like the 15-minute alerts is it usually tells me when something's in a dip sequence, if that's what I'm looking for. So on this one here, if I do a 15-minute alert on the MFI or the RSI, when that starts to, come back up, that tells me it's in a dip sequence on the 5, and I can bounce back over. Here's 2 in the morning, which is right about here, and this is going on. So when my 15-minute alert goes off, on my 5-minute, I'm getting this action, which is what I'm looking for. I got a bubble, I got, dipping candles, and then I can take it from there. So that answer your question?
Good answer, CJ.
All right, thank you. Anything else on trading? Very well, I'll wrap it up here. If you're watching this on recording, thanks for that. Check out the opportunities in the comments below. They help fund the channel. And if you're a Carbon member, stick around. We'll talk a little bit of Carbon. I'll take a break and come back. If you're heading out, you feel free to do that. We'll see you on Monday or Friday next week. Have a good weekend.